Fall of Jerusalem. Amr bin As was laying siege to Jerusalem. After the fall of Antioch, Abu Ubaidah, Khalid and other Muslim generals also joined Amr. The Christians had little hope of help from Byzantium, so they decided to give in. However, the Christians had some fears. They knew that other cities had given in before. In each case the victors had respected the life and property of the defeated. They had left alone their places of worship. They had allowed them to follow their own religion. But about Jerusalem the Christians were not very sure. It was as sacred to the Muslims as it was to them. Before giving in they wanted to make very sure that they would be treated well. So the Christians put their proposal before Abu Ubaidah. "We are ready to give in," they said, "but your caliph must come here in person and sign the treaty of peace." The Muslim generals met in council and thought over the proposal. At last they decided to accept it. "Why spill human blood?" they said, "if things can be straightened out without it." So the Christian proposal was conveyed to the caliph. Jerusalem could be taken without shedding a drop of blood. But for that Umar had to come all the way from Medina to Jerusalem. To this Umar readily agreed. Umar in Jerusalem. The caliph left Ali in Medina as his deputy and himself left for Jerusalem. He had only one attendant with him and only one camel to ride. Umar and the attendant rode the camel by turns. It happened to be the servant's turn to ride on the day when they were to reach Jerusalem. "Commander of the faithful," said the attendant, "I give up my turn. It will look awkward in the eyes of the people if I ride and you lead the camel." "Oh no," replied Umar, "I am not going to be unjust. The honor of Islam is enough for us all." Abu Ubaidah, Khalid, Yazid and other officers of the army went some distance to receive the caliph. All of them were wearing silk cloaks. This made Umar angry. He took some pebbles and threw them at his generals, saying, "Have you changed so much in just 2 years? What dress is this? Even if you had done these 200 years from now, I would have dismissed you." The officers replied, "Commander of the faithful, we are in a land where the quality of clothes worn tells the rank of a man. If we wear ordinary clothes, we will command little respect among the people. However, we are wearing our arms underneath the silken robes." This answer cooled down the anger of the caliph. Next the caliph signed the treaty of peace. It ran as follows: "From the servant of Allah and the commander of the faithful, Umar, the inhabitants of Jerusalem are granted security of life and property. Their churches and crosses shall be secure. This treaty applies to all people of the city. Their places of worship shall remain intact. These shall neither be taken over nor pulled down. People shall be quite free to follow their religion. They shall not be put to any trouble." The gates of the city were now opened. Umar went straight to the temple of David, Masjid Aqsa. Here he said his prayer under David's arch. Next he visited the biggest Christian church of the city. He was in the church when the time for the afternoon prayer came. "You may say your prayers in the church," said the bishop. "No," replied Umar, "if I do so, the Muslims may one day make this an excuse for taking over the church from you." So he said his prayers on the steps of the church. Even then, he gave the bishop a writing. It said that the steps were never to be used for congregational prayers, nor was the call to prayer to be said there. Umar's Mosque. Umar wanted to build a mosque in Jerusalem. He asked the bishop which place would be suitable for the purpose. The bishop suggested the Sakhra, or the rock on which Allah had talked to Prophet Jacob. Here the Christians had heaped garbage to tease the Jews. Immediately the Sakhra was cleared of the garbage. Umar himself worked like a laborer with the rest of his men. Jerusalem, the city of David and of Christ, witnessed the equality of Islam. When the Sakhra had been cleared of every trace of dirt, a mosque was built on the site. The mosque stands to this day and is known as Umar's Mosque.